Mr. Namandje, was born at Onyanya on the 15th of December 1972, and he's the firstborn of 12 children, quite a few of whom, by the way, we have at the back, just in case anybody wants to meet his family. They're right there, maybe you can get a consultation through them. And Memerusa Namandje, he is a family man. So Mr. Namandje started his junior primary education at Onjamba Combined School, and he completed his senior primary education at Imanya Senior Primary School. He then started his secondary education in exile at Onyango in the Swapo Health Education Center in Western Zambia, and then completed his matric at Ukule Senior Secondary School in the north. So in 1995, Mr. Namandje was a very interesting history. Worked as and there's actually quite a funny story that he tells a lot about this. He worked at the Windhoek Maximum Security Central Prison because, and he says that he submitted his application for university to study law because he always knew that this is what he wants to do. He submitted his application all the way from the north, so he gave it to a cousin to go and submit at UNAM. And this cousin ended up never submitting that application, so it never reached UNAM. So in that year, he then came to Windhoek to come and register for university as a law student. And unfortunately, when he gets to UNAM, they say, well, sorry, we've never received your application. But being a man of many talents and not one, I think this just shows his sheer courage and sheer determination. He then decides, well, let me get a job while I wait for the following year in order to get my application to UNAM. So then in 95, he worked as a warden at the Windhoek Maximum Security Central Prison. And then right after that, in 96, he registered for his studies at the UNAM Law Faculty, where he did his B Juris until 98, and then completed his LLB degree in the year 2000. So while studying for his LLB, he joined the Namibia Defence Force from the year 2000 to 2001 as the head of the policy planning, holding the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, making him the youngest member of the Namibia Defence Force to hold such a rank at the time. So he left the NDF in September 2001 to complete his articles as a candidate legal practitioner at the law firm Ndapo and Associates. So Mr. Namandje was then admitted as a legal practitioner of the High Court on the 10th of March 2013, and thereafter established that the law firm of Sisa, Namandje and Co. just roughly 27 days after that. So right after his admission, on the 7th of April 2003, he became the very first UNAM graduate to establish a law firm. Mr. Namandje is obviously one of the sharpest lawyers in Namibia. He's known as a vicious, uncompromising, brutal, and I must add, very prepared and very thorough in any court battle. He once again reached another milestone where he was appointed for the first time as an acting judge of the High Court in 2008. That is just 5 years after his admission as a legal practitioner, which at 35 years old, mind you, makes him the youngest judicial appointment to the bench, just 5 years after he began practicing law. He was then further appointed for a second time in the same capacity in 2010. Now, Mr. Namandje is an author of 2 legal books. His name litters so many judgments of this jurisdiction. He has challenged of various legal fields, has challenged so many standing orders, and I believe that, and I finished reading the book, and I think what makes the book very relevant, not to just people who practice law, but also to a layman, is especially with ongoing Operation Kalahari. Read the book, know your rights. When you're detained, when you're arrested, what are you going to do? I think it's written in such a way that everybody can relate. So, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman who continues to write and to contribute to our growing jurisprudence as a practicing attorney, can we please all rise up and put our hands together for the man of the moment, Mr. Sisa Namandje.
First thing is just that there was a need for somebody to speak out about arrest and detention, right to live in Namibia, because there is a massive abuse every day. You understand? Every day, I can tell you today, tomorrow, few days ago. people were just being arrested because people had power to arrest for no apparent reason. And it's bad, I can tell you. I have a friend of mine who is a lawyer. I heard that his wife was arrested a few days ago just because she had few drinks. There was no car accident. And, prominent lawyer arrested for no, when there is another option of giving a person after blood taking, given notice to a person to appear in court. Ladies thrown into cells with murderers and rapists. So, very bad. So I needed to write about that. Second one, it's a black lawyer, and I do not apologize for talking about this issue. So you must work so hard to sustain your success. Otherwise it will be brought down, I can tell you. So that when you go down, at least your name continue being spoken about because you got written and so forth. It will be very difficult if you simply practice law, because there will be a lot of malicious complaints against you at Law Society. There will be I'm not protecting anybody, but I can tell you, there was I have been dealing with a useless complaint against me by a certain bank for no apparent reasons. And I know it happens to many of us. So to a formerly disadvantaged lawyer, I have found that it doesn't matter how good you are, you got to work to keep your name up there. Apart from just showing that I'm not stupid, I also just wanted to write a book so that you guys, lawyers and people from the street, knows you're right. So let's talk about it. Now, our history is a history of where it was normal. We took it, those of us that were here in the 80s, it was normal, and we thought that's it. For somebody just to come at your house without no formal papers from court, a warrant of arrest, and pull your father away like a dog in a Casper, goes without any information as to where your father is for days and months and years. Because it was normal, it was not questioned. Obviously, people like Dave Smart and them used to question and challenge these things. But in hindsight, I realized that the big problem was that there was no rule of law. There was no constitutionalism. Human rights was so devalued to the extent that even those of us that were at the receiving end didn't realize that there's something wrong with it. So from that background, and in view of the fact that we have a constitution that ordains and protects fundamental rights, when you see these guys that are called para, just arresting people just because when you reason with them, they say you are interfering. Most of the time, I can tell you. Just when you say that, say, but why do you want to pull me to the police station 8 in the van? And this is happening every day. Because over the weekend, even this weekend, somebody got arrested. I say, give the cell phone to the police officer to speak to him. I hear police officer on the background saying, hey, tell him I don't speak to lawyers on the phone. So this is so bad. Okay, now what I try to do in this book is that to say something about the right to liberty and why it is important, and secondly, to just alert people and teach people what is arrest and detention. Now, in Namibia, you would find that cases where simply because there is a case, just because there is a case, a person must be arrested. And here we are not going to blame the police officers, also the society, civil society, and lawyers. activists like Job, I must also blame them, because what happened is that in most cases, when you have a politician arrested, you find that everybody, he must be arrested today. That's what they say. When you have a young guy arrested, no, that is unfair. So we must have a universal standard as to when people should be arrested. And I can tell you, to avoid discrimination, we must have one universal standard of when people should be arrested. I think a universal agreement is that the violent suspects must be arrested so that they do not do damage to society while waiting for trial. Rapists, people that may run away and not returned to court. But a commercial crime like taking whatever, the wool of window comes to a standstill because a young people is being arrested on a technical and statutory offense. The person is well now, just because somebody, and they always come on Friday. You understand? Ask yourself, why would somebody arrest Michael and on a Friday or Thursday? Thursday they don't bring him to court, arrest him at 10. There's a whole lot of time to bring him to court. If they do not want to terrorize and make him feel pain, why would they not bring him to court on Friday? So he stay in custody up to Monday. It's an abuse. Okay, then you ask them, do you have objection? No. Actually, we know him. But why did you arrest him then? Why did you not give him a notice and then tell the court attach conditions? So the whole system is abused. You understand? I have spoken about General Nopoju. Thomas Amnyera, I have spoken about this. A general in Namibian police, army commander, on a small, useless corruption offense, man has been cooperating. A military commander of plan, after everything, investigation is done, this call, useless call, yeah, can we meet you at court in Rundu so that you go in the cells, we arrest you shortly and appear and we give you bail of 500. So the guy that stayed abroad for many years fighting would be kept in Namibia on a $500. So you see, it's not. People are just doing it because they have power. Arrest is just one way of many ways to bring a person to court. And that is their best weapon for those who may run away. Otherwise, everybody must get notices and so forth. Even when they do not have beds in the cells, they are just putting everybody in the cells. Ladies with kids. I spoke about in this book about a man I found at Okatope with a 4-year-old child. Just think about your own child, 4 years, behind bars. Behind bars. And when I ask, why is the child behind bars? Yeah, no. Arrested, drink and driving. The father is from Moshitai. This is at Okatope. We said he must call family member to come and get the child. I say, you are mad. So why did you not, after taking blood, whatever, or breathalyzer, say the guy must leave the car there because he's drunk, take a taxi with the kid, go home, Monday, go to court. So I call him the Itunga. Say, you know what is happening here? No, they will say I will interfere. I say, General, no way. Then he ordered everybody, release them on warning, which is a good thing. Going to Ondangwa court, this magistrate with no clue, then ask, why are these people coming on bail in drink and driving cases? Other people are on bail or are in custody. Come in custody, then I give you bail 4,000 like others. What madness is that? A person is already out because there is an option of a warning or a notice. Now a magistrate who is supposed to do justice is now doing irregular things. This is how the system is abused in Namibia. So that's why I found that there was a need to write about this thing. For instance, Justice Damaso has written a very good judgment that it cannot be all right just to say if there is a suspicion, all what you need is suspicion, you can arrest. No, he said, after finding that there is a suspicion, then you must consider whether it is necessary to arrest. Because there are 4 ways to bring people to court. And he is correct, Justice Damaso. This was in Hairuru's matter, because Hairuru cooperated. I knew you were going to say. Cooperated with the police for 2 years. No, the High Court found that it was unlawful. His arrest was unlawful. For 2 years. After they are done with the investigation, they go, then arrest some labor union guys behind. So, but do you have objection to bail? No, of course. But why did you arrest him? Why did you not just serve him with indictment? The guy goes to court. Things like that. I can tell you, if Elvis, my friend, walks out here and just have a beer and there are police officers there, I can assure you, even if they are neighbors, police officer will say, I will arrest you, and they will give you only 4,000. But not that they have any fear, just because they can do it. So, all these things do not make sense to me. And I can tell you, if you read the CPA, it makes it very clear that where an offense is committed in the presence of a police officer, yes, he has the right to arrest if it is committed in his presence. But there are offenses where a police officer cannot arrest you if he was not there, unless he has a warrant of arrest. For instance, if Michael there was charged with only apparently contravention of banking, whatever contravention of Banking Institutions Act, that kind of an offense, it's not a Schedule 1 offense. And because the penalty there, it may be more than 600, it may be imprisonment of more than 6 months, but there is an option of fine. The law says that if there is an option of fine, you cannot arrest unless it is a Schedule 1 offense. Then you need a warrant of arrest. On very tiny little offenses, people are arrested because. So that's why I needed to write about this. On bail, I was in Ondangwa on Friday. I went to assist a friend. Police officer comes in the door. Person has been in custody since July. We are trying to get bail. Then I asked Meme, you need to show this man that at least you know he committed an offense. No, the evidence in the docket there. What did the man do? MTC recorder. What is that? It's true. This happened in Ondangwa on Friday. I don't care that the judgment is pending, but I'm shocked. So if MTC record are there, a person must be arrested. So just imagine if somebody was being accused of murder, then I challenge a police officer in the bail application and say, why did you arrest this man? And the police officer cannot account for reason for arresting. Because if it is a donkey, it's not murder. Murder is the killing of a human being. So you must at least justify why you arrested somebody. So on a charge of theft, the police officer did not say a single word why the person is arrested. And I knew why, because the police officer just arrested somebody because from street rumors, apparently the suspect has something to do with the offense. Yeah, so, and we must also remember when we demand people to be put in custody, particularly prominent people who are vulnerable to these things because they are politicians, they are lawyers and so on. Even if they are presumed to be innocent, people demand, and kind you, anybody can be accused by anybody. So one must be careful. I'm not saying people must not be arrested, but when they are arrested, it must be necessary. So you go and read my book. There is also a chapter on this thing. Police officer saying, "Hey, why are you disturbing me? I have been within 48 hours." There is nothing like that. 48 hours is simply there to say that, look, this is your time to bring a person to court. But as soon as you arrest him, you must, as soon as possible, within those 48 hours, take a person to court. Even if you arrest a person at 11 or 1 today, at least try and take a person to court so that the person avoids being detained overnight. Some people have kids. The other day, a client of mine was arrested in Namandje with twins. They were, I think, 5 or 6. And another, a brother who was 8. Police officers were being told, look, but you are arresting me. What about these kids? They are saying, fuck off. You cannot tell us, lock up and let's go to the station. We want to leave the kids there. It's true. It's not a lie. So we have lost the justice sense and the feeling of humanity. We don't appreciate the value of a human being. You see? So as support job and them, but also support income coming from this book, to get income from this book, because I want to say this because when we speak about arrest, it's closely associated to dignity of a human being. There was a story on last week of an albino man in Okarongo. Who read that story? Yeah. Where a person sleeps at a cooker shop, he doesn't know. And I think the president of Albino Association yesterday sent me pictures. I just checked that person for about maybe 20 seconds. Understand? But the person has been there because we think it's normal. My office step in tomorrow. We are going to pay and build him a proper house, beds. And, so you say lawyers don't just say that we are just making money from, we say, crooks. No. So we are going to do that. I'm saying this because the topic I have addressed here is closely associated to dignity and value of a human being. Thank you.